Welcome, everyone, to the Daily Juice Podcast. I'm your host, Sean, Second the Money Green. Give me a follow on Twitter at Sean T. Green. And as always, Daily Juice being brought to you by BetMGM. Use that promo code JUICE. Get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Okay. Show's coming to you late. And, yeah, basically the reason was last night was scheduled to record the show. The plan was after Monday Night Football, and then I'm sure everyone's seen that crazy Hamlin medical situation happened. Felt weird to fire up the stream and recap the parts of the game and talk about voided or canceled bets at that time. It was just felt like a weird time to be doing that. And honestly, I was just glued to the medical coverage to see if there was any sort of update on Hamlin and how he's doing. It sounds like now he's, stabilized. It's still a very serious situation. He's in critical condition. So obviously my thoughts, my prayers, I'm sure everyone praying super hard for that guy. One positive, I know he had like a toy drive going. They have a GoFundMe kicking around. So it's up to like $3.8 million. So that was a really cool thing. People banding together, supporting him. So hopefully we get an update in the next couple days, a positive one. So thoughts and prayers for Hamlin there. And not much else to add. And it'll be, I guess we just kind of have to sit back and see what happens. Obviously his medical stuff, his health, his well-being, that comes first, but the NFL is in a really weird situation as trying to unravel and unsort this season. So his health, that all comes first. So hoping for the best for him. As far as me and my day yesterday, other than that, crazy Monday night thing, it was a pretty awesome day. Went to the Rose Bowl, got to, I've gone to a number of UCLA games at the Rose Bowl, but never went to a Rose Bowl personally, Rose Bowl for the actual Rose Bowl game. It was really an awesome experience. One, I'd gone to UCLA games, so I didn't get the full effect of having 94,000 fans in there with the flyovers. I am a Penn State homer, so got some pretty decent seats. And, yeah, got to see Penn State, take care of business against Utah. That was a really fun game. We were on the Penn State side. Although, who knows what happens if Cam Rising stays in that game. It was unfortunate to see him get knocked out. Their offense wasn't the same, but did feel like Penn State was going to take care of business regardless. But, yeah, super fun game, super fun Rose Bowl, and really good season for Penn State. So shout out to We Are Penn State. Hey, if you guys want to get in, youtube.com/bettingpros, hit subscribe, comment on this video. Comment on your favorite NFL Week 18 lines. The NFL is going to get super wonky here at the end with some teams resting starters for the playoffs, some teams not needing it at all, some teams secretly tanking. So it's going to be a wild week and not crazy to kind of get out and get ahead of some of these betting lines. So, if you see a number you like now, factor in all that kind of stuff because they could shift a lot between now and kickoff on Sunday. All right, for the picks for today, here's what we got. 2 NBA picks and a college basketball pick. First up, Celtics at Thunder. I'm taking the Thunder here, plus 9.5 over on BetMGM. I had been riding the Celtics a lot recently, but they've seemingly cooled off. Here's the other thing. Boston's coming off a loss, which normally I like to take a good team coming off a loss, but the Celtics aren't particularly good or even really dominant against the spread after a loss. They're only 7-8 ATS as a road favorite. So there's not like a very obvious get up spot for them. And then on the other side, the Oklahoma City Thunder, are they awesome? No, certainly not. But they are 8-5 ATS as a home dog. They're 7-3 against the spread in their last 10, 7-3 against the spread at home in their last 10. So they've been showing up. They've been playing decent basketball. And for me, one way I like to look at a team or even to kind of grade a team is looking at their offensive rebounding. I think you look at their offensive rebounding, that tells you a lot about a basketball team because offensive rebounding, it's the ultimate effort stat. Last 3 games, Oklahoma City 6th in the league in offensive rebounding, averaging 13 points per game. So again, you get 13 extra possessions if you're the Thunder and you're getting 9.5 points. That to me is a good formula to cover the spread against the Boston Celtics. So give me the Oklahoma City Thunder catching 9.5 at home. against the Boston Celtics. Next up, we got the Washington Wizards at the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm taking the Bucks here, minus 7.5 over at BetMGM. I mean, the Bucks are really a completely different team, home and away. They're 1-5 ATS their last 6, but they're 4-1 ATS at home and 13-6 against the spread at home this season. And that 13-6 even includes a loss to the Wizards, which was their last game. So weird scheduling quirk. The Bucks are at home in back-to-back games against the Wizards. Wizards just beat them by 23 points. So again, the Bucks are a good home team to begin with. Now they're coming off an embarrassing loss against the Wizards. They losing by 23 at home to the Wizards. Like, that's not a good look for Milwaukee. So they're going to be super extra motivated to get this win. It's a immediate revenge spot for the Bucks. And for the Wizards, it's like, hey, man, we got 1 out of 2, right? Like, if they get destroyed by the Bucks, they're still probably somewhat happy with their showing in Milwaukee because they got that first win. So all the pressure's off the Wizards. I don't know what their motivation level is going to be, but I think the Bucks, you're going to get a super fired up, angry, fear the deer type Milwaukee Bucks team. And again, it's a massive letdown spot for the Wizards. And yeah, like, again, they already got the win. Now they're going to be on cruise control. You're going to get a fired up, best version of the Bucks team. So I like the Bucks here, laying 7.5. I don't like the Bucks on the road ATS recently, but at home they're still pretty reliable. And again, they're coming off that loss. It just feels like a great spot for them. Last pick of the night, college basketball. Seton Hall at Creighton. Apologies if I mispronounce it. My brain just cannot figure out how to correctly pronounce Creighton. So if I mess it up throughout the season, just know that is one of my brain wiring mishaps. I'm taking Creighton, laying 8.5 over on FanDuel. Number opened up at 8, so if you got 8, congrats to you. You know, this Creighton team, they're a really different team. Now they got a healthy Cockbrenner back. That kid is a beast. They were really playing pretty poor, losing a bunch of games without him. He's obviously a huge part of their team. And then on the other end, you got Seton Hall, which is just kind of like a sloppy team. They're decent, like they're still getting wins, but they've been pretty sloppy. And you look at some of their advanced metrics, 326 in turnover percentage, 295th in the country in free throw percentage. You know, Seton Hall, they haven't looked sharp on the road as well. They've lost 3 out of their last 4. I mean, we're talking about like a 5-point percentage difference in free throws in Creighton's favor. Like, that's huge. When you're talking about those last 9, you know, covering an 8, covering a 9, covering a 10, you got to hit your free throws. Seton Hall also, like, really not a team that shoots well from behind the arc. Like, that's just not their game. Creighton, I think, is going to outmatch them on a bunch of different levels. And with a healthy Cockbrenner, I think the motivation is there. Also got this from our from bettingpros.com. Some good write-ups over there, as always, reading their stuff. Creighton points out, or they point out, Creighton is 21-8 ATS against teams with winning records. So Creighton seems to get up for good teams, and now that they're fully healthy, I think they're in a good spot. And again, this is more just a fade of Seton Hall and how sloppy they've played and how just, you know, just out of sorts they look on the road. They're a very different home and road team, kind of like the Milwaukee Bucks. So for my official selections, give me Creighton minus 8.5 for a unit. Give me the Bucks minus 7.5 over on BetMGM. And the Creighton price is over on FanDuel. And then last but not least, give me the Thunder home dog plus 9.5 over on BetMGM. And yeah, shout out again, thoughts and prayers for Hamlin. Hoping, you know, later in the week we get some good news for him. So definitely going to be thinking of him as I'm sure you all are. So tough time for him and his family. But yeah, if you're so inclined, donate to that toy drive. Seems like a really great way to contribute and kind of get a positive spin to such a tough night for sports fans and obviously for the Hamlin family. All right. As always, give us a follow on TikTok at Betting Pros. Follow me on Twitter at Sean T. Green. Check out my other show, the Sports Gambling Podcast. You know what to do. Subscribe, rate, and review. And as always, don't forget to let it ride.